Thank you, ma'am. This event has sparked new insights, fostered meaningful connections, and has opened doors to growth and understanding that has shaped our journey ahead.
Leaders instill in their people a hope for success and a belief in themselves. Positive leaders empower people to accomplish their goals. Our correspondent is an incarnation of positivity. He envisages the upliftment of the staffs, the students, and the society. He believes everything is possible. Now, let me invite Shri S. Amarnath Sir, our most respectable treasurer and correspondent of SAEC, for delivering the presidential speech.
Greetings to everyone. Respected dignitaries on the dais, faculty members, students of the dais. First of all, let me thank the organizers of this event, Mr. Koteeswaran and Assistant Professor Mrs. Nalini, for their wonderful effort they have made to make this organization, make this event a remarkable incident in the roadmap of our institution. Inviting a guest like the dignitary sitting on the dais and requesting them to come to address you students is not an easy task. And the dignitaries have taken enough effort and they have decided to give you their valuable time and their knowledge to enrich you all. On my behalf, on the behalf of my students, I thank you all, sir, for your efforts made to visit our institutions. Once again, thank my teachers, Nalini and Koteeswaran and other people who have made this event a successful one. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. A pleasure. On this valedictory event of smart technologies for sustainable development goals. For the past, today is the third day, we have been hearing what sustainable goals are. And I think I need not talk about sustainable goals. Let me talk something about smart technologies and how the initial technology, how the initial initiative of a technology into this country was sustainable, that has brought us to this position. During the early 70s, I believe, early 70s, how many of you know Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri? No one, no student knows who Lal Bahadur Shastri was. Okay, Lal Bahadur Shastri was, sir, see. Huh? Lal Bahadur Shastri was the Prime Minister of this country, very popular Prime Minister. During his tenure, there was a place called Anand in Gujarat. And there was a problem in this country for the supply of milk. Lal Bahadur Shastri went to Anand and stayed in one farmer's house. He had dinner with the farmer, and at 8 o'clock in the evening, he started going to every farmer's house who they were all the members of the Milk Cooperative Society. He took insights from every farmer till 2 o'clock in the midnight. And then he made orders, and that was revolution, flood. Being a Prime Minister of a country, he could have sat on his table, he could have called officials to bring all the data and records, and he could have passed the orders. He did not do so. He personally went inside every household, farmer's house in a village. He discussed with them and took inputs. The same way, when you want to create a technology, if you want to create some engineering concept, first thing is you personally must understand the problem. You must understand all the dimensions of a problem. Only when you understand the dimension of a problem, and when you immerse yourself into a problem, you can create a solution for a problem. And another incident I could mark here is a professor who wanted one space of land for developing his research. I just marked this incident in the early 1960s. This professor identified a land for research, and that land was suitable for ionospheric electrojet research. It is somewhere in Kerala, and he approached the officials and requested the land. The Kerala government officials studied the profile of the land. The land was situated near a beach, and there were fishermen's houses, a church, a bishop's house, and a school surrounding this in that land. So the Kerala government refused to give this land to the professor. They said no. Professor was very much determined to get that land because it was on the equatorial region, ideally suitable for ionospheric electrojet research. So after gathering the right information from the public, he went and approached the bishop of the church. The bishop, after hearing the professor, he asked him to come on a Sunday for a mass. Professor also went there. Bishop conducted the mass. Mind you, professor did not approach the government again. Professor, after thorough analysis on the floor, he approached the bishop. Bishop had no right to give the land because land belongs to the government. But the professor approached the bishop. Bishop called him for the mass. Bishop conducted the mass, and then he said, "Children, there is a professor here. What I am doing and what he is doing. He is asking for the place of the fisherman. He is asking for the place of God, church. He is asking the place of the school. He is asking the place of my house where I live and your house." That's what he said. Then he said, "What I am doing is praying for your well-being. Through the lights burning in this church with this technology and through the mic given by the technology of science. This is happening because of innovation. And the medicines are given by the science through technology for your well-being. I am praying for your well-being, and science is also for your well-being. So, can we give our house, the Lord's house, the school, to the professor for conducting his research?" There was absolute silence for some time, and everyone said, "Amen." It means everyone collectively decided to give their land to the professor. Professor instead gave the entire household, a school and a church in a different area within 1 year, and this church was converted into a rocket space launch station or rocket design and assembly station. The bishop's house was scientist's workspace. That is called as, today it is called as Vikram Sarabhai Space Research Center. The professor was Vikram Sarabhai, and that space is called as Vikram Sarabhai Space Research Center, where till today eminent scientists make their research on space today. And from that day onwards, the technology which Vikram Sarabhai gave to this country, which the priest, the bishop, decided to give, the convergence of religion and science together is brought technology to great heights in this country today. So, here also you would like to see how Professor Vikram Sarabhai approached the bishop. He understood the problem. He understood to ask the bishop, not to the government when the government refused. He did not go to the court. He did not go to the prime minister. He did not go to the chief minister of the state. Though his purpose was for the state, for a common purpose, he did not go and ask them. He asked only for the bishop. Because he understood if the bishop says yes, the people in this region will say yes. So, before you embrace a technology, understand all the dimensions of the problem. Now, coming to the next is, after successful innovations of science and technology, this country has reached great heights in defense, in space researches, and that has given a huge economy to this country. The economic and social development of this country after the establishment of Vikram Sarabhai Space Research Center is huge, very enormous. What I would like to tell you is, you need to adopt or you need to embrace technology. The way to embrace technology is, again I would emphasize, get down to the problem. Don't sit on top of a chair. Get down to the problem. See where the problem is. What would be the opt solution for the problem? Now the second aspect of solving a problem or taking your life to the next level is, you need to keep on changing your orbits. You know what an orbit is. The pathway for a planet to go around the sun is an orbit. Same way, the pathway of your life which you travel, which you keep on going, there you need to keep on changing. You can't stay in the same pathway. For you to keep on changing your pathways, you need to ask certain questions to yourself. What should be done so that I can enter the next orbit? Answer this question. What should be done so that I can enter the next orbit? Now, before answering the question, you should have one thing in mind. You should understand even the smallest size of a problem. Even if you should not, smallest size of an information, even this, the size of a sand of information, of one single sand of information you get, try to have it, analyze it. And analyze consistently. Be consistent, do it with perseverance. Only when you do that, you will understand and answer to this question, what should be done so that I can shift my orbit? After coming to a conclusion, you should redefine your scope. You redefine your scope and enhance the scale of your work. Hope you all understand what shifting your orbit is. An answer to the question is, and ask a question to yourself, what should be done so that I can shift the orbit, go to the next orbit. and ask yourself where I should compete. You should know where you should compete. You cannot throw a ball when it is to be thrown on the basket. You should not throw it on the other side of the court. You should try to understand where you should compete. And the biggest problem in shifting the orbit is your mindset. Your mindset is the biggest enemy for yourself. Paradoxically, your mindset is your best friend. If you choose it, if you use it on the right way, it will enhance tremendously. You can move waves together. These are certain small tricks to shift your orbit. When you decide to shift your orbit, you should parallelly learn to do some cyclic learning. The art of cyclic learning is simple. You learn something, you do it in the ground. If you fail, learn again and again do it. It's very simple. When you keep on doing it frequently, you will understand where you are going. You can shift orbits very often. Shifting orbits very often can be done only when you make cyclic learning as your core habit. Cyclic learning and shifting orbits are very essential when you embrace technology. And create a formula for yourself. What works for you and how it works and why it works. When you are able to answer this formula, you are in the game. And you must have an agenda for yourself and a culture for your growth and development. Thank you, students. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your empowering speech, which has opened our minds to greater things.